Hey, it's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since I recorded a video, and I just wanted to share with you what I've been up to. I'm on the Cape. I'm on Cape Cod right now on the beach, the place called Nauset Beach, and it's been an intense couple weeks, and I just wanted to kind of talk through what I've been up to and share a couple photos with you of the beautiful seascapes in the area and just give you a quick update. So come along and we'll go for a little bit of a walk and talk about some beach photography. I'm out in Dennisport. I've been going every afternoon for dog walks along the beach in Chatham. And Chatham's kind of a nice area. It's a very fancy, expensive area on the Cape, but really lovely. And if you imagine, the Cape is sort of like an arm with an elbow. Chatham is the elbow. Provincetown is the fingers at the top. And it's sort of the part of the Cape where it transitions from more like a beach scene, a bay scene to an ocean scene. So I don't know. That's kind of what I would say about Chatham. I'm taking my qualifying exams, or at least I took the written exam yesterday. I've mentioned I'm doing a PhD. It's in environmental health, and I study the transportation sector and policies implemented in that sector and how they have health and climate impacts. So, basic stuff that I think we all experience on a daily basis around transportation and how it affects our lives. But part of the PhD process is taking qualifying exams, and it was a brutal 6-hour pain in the butt experience, and not something I wish on anyone. And I frankly wish that the academic sector was a little bit more understanding in the context of COVID and the challenges that we're all facing. But alas, here we are. I took the exam yesterday. It wasn't the end of the world, and hopefully I get through this phase. We'll see how it goes. But in order to take it, to have a quiet place to study, to take the exam, to prepare, to get some rest, which is a little bit hard to do with a toddler at home, I came out to the Cape. It's the off season. It's relatively easy to get a reasonably priced place out here. And I got a tiny house, brought the dog, and spent the last 3 nights out here just studying, sleeping, and getting ready. And every afternoon I went for a walk because my dog would stare at me and get me to go outside and try to find some nice shots, or just a way to clear my mind and reset and get some perspective, some literal perspective and figurative perspective on the whole process. So it's been kind of a exhausting couple weeks, but I did have the chance on this trip to take a couple shots and to do a little bit of photography. And one of the things I'd been wanting to try for a while is something called motion blur photography. And I think there's probably a technical term for it that I'm missing. But it's this technique of intentionally blurring your photo. And it's not an out of focus shot per se. I mean, it's kind of hard to articulate. I think you know it when you see it. Essentially, it's using the camera to intentionally blur the scene together in an artful, artistic way. I did this when I was taking photos of the sunset, and I think that was a wonderful subject because you end up blurring together these different hues and different colors. There's a little bit of orange in these very vibrant sunsets that I've been seeing on the Cape. Orange and yellow and pink and magenta, purple and blue, and so all these colors kind of blur together with the white sand, and it creates a really nice image. And that was something I did this week that I was pretty excited about. And as you can see in the image, it works in a way. I mean, I'm torn. I think it's perfectly reasonable to look at this shot and think, great, you took a blurry image, but there's more technique to it. I had to explore a couple different shutter speeds to get the blur correctly, kind of work on the technique. I wanted the lines to kind of show up in the scene, but not be too distinctive that they were the subject of the photo. The curvature of kind of the blur was another thing I was playing around with. So there's a lot of technique to this, and I think it's worth exploring as an artistic medium. I like this shot in the sense that I could see this being cropped in a more landscape ratio, so maybe a little bit more wide and a little less tall. And I could see this being framed in a beach house or something like that. So I like this as a shot. These really cool beach shacks, and I just kind of wonder, like, whose house is this, and what do they do? Like, there's an outhouse, and it's like a tiny 1-bedroom shack. Like, do people come out here and stay out here? These houses, I mean, right? What a gem. And there's another one over here. That one even has a chimney. I mean, I'm very into this scene. Haley, leave it. It's a place, man, out here. I would definitely come out here. I was walking along Harding Beach, which I think is probably my favorite walk in the area, and saw a number of really interesting trees. And I'll look up what these trees are, but in the field I didn't really know what they were. But they stood out with the orangey grass at sunset and the beautiful stands of trees that kind of were dramatic on the horizon. So that was another thing. Maybe I've been watching too many of these landscape photos where people go into the woodlands, but I just was into this. It was very peaceful to me, and I think that contrast of the trees with the grasses and the horizon just spoke to me in a very calming and peaceful way. So I think it's kind of interesting that both of these shots, the motion blur scene and the trees, are both kind of speaking to kind of the calmness of the beach and of this environment. And I think that's interesting. I'm in a more anxious or stressed period of my life, I guess, or of the last couple years. I'm through it, at least with that first exam, but I think that's good. And I have to say, it's interesting to me that these photos, or the art that I was drawn to making, is the opposite of that. It's the antithesis of the stress in my life. It's this calming, relaxed beach, tonal type of photography. And I'm not sure, but I think there's something there. Photography can be that outlet. It's an opportunity, I guess, to kind of calm down and relax in this application. And I'm grateful for that. I think it was a really nice outlet, even if I only did it for an hour a day as I was going on one of these dog walks, just resetting my brain and kind of getting perspective with the grandness of the landscape. It was really rewarding and very helpful. So look, that's what I got for you. Good experience, fun week. Well, not a good experience. I don't know what I'm saying. There was nothing good about the PhD qualifying exam experience, but it was nice to be able to physically get out here and to breathe and take a couple shots over the week and just kind of get outside. So nothing to complain about, really. I still consider myself extremely privileged to be doing a PhD and to have this space to think. It's just not something I take lightly, and I am grateful for it. I don't want to come off as not grateful, but I just, I'm tired, and it was a tough week. But I expect the next couple weeks to spend a little bit more time outside. I'm really looking forward to some winter hikes in the 4,000 footers in New Hampshire. One of my favorite things to do is winter hiking in New Hampshire, and I'll explain why I think winter's the best season to hike 4,000 footers in another video. But I'm just looking forward to the weeks ahead. We got the holiday season coming up, and a lot of stuff to look forward to in spite of all the challenges we're facing around the world. So be well and take care and get outside, be physically active. I'll say that the last month has been hard to be physically active, and I haven't gotten outside like I normally would. And I feel it, and I'm feeling the negative impacts of not being active and getting outside. So not only do it for the positive benefits, but do it so you can avoid the negative impacts of staying outside in a sedentary lifestyle. So be well. Take care.